welcome to the world premiere of Air It Out, presented by HBCU Game Day, a new sports talk show host where we're just going to get some things off our chest. We're going to air it out. I am here with my lovely co-host.
Yes, it is me. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. It is me. I'm excited. We're going to be sitting, talking, Black women, Black sports, everything, just getting it off our chest, because sometimes you got to get what's on your chest. You got to get it out. Hence, we're going to air it out. So,
exactly.
Before we get to anything, I feel as though our audience should rightfully know who we are, because they got these two girls, they never seen them before. So I feel like we should give ourselves some credibility. So just give us a nice introduction of who you are.
Yeah, let the people know who we are, who they're going to be listening from.
Exactly.
So I'm Corey Staples. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I am an alumni of the University of Florida. Gators, baby! And while I was at UF, I majored in telecommunications with an outside concentration in sport management, and I also played on the women's basketball team there. After I was done and I graduated with my bachelor's, I transferred to Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, Rattlers,
What?
where I am currently getting my master's in sport management. And I just, recently retired athlete. I played on the women's basketball team for my 5th year of eligibility. So, I've always had a passion for sports. I knew that, and I feel like the University of Florida was able to dive a little bit deeper into my passion for broadcasting as well. And so, fast forward a couple years later, and here I am having this amazing opportunity with HBCU Game Day, and I am pumped to get this started. A little bit about me professionally: I was the ESPN3 sideline reporter for the Florida A&M football team for their home season last year. So I've always had a passion for reporting, and I would love to just expand on that here. So here I am with the one and only Domo.
That's me, Domo, D-O-M-O. Domonique, as the professionals call me, but I am a great alumni from the University of South Florida. Go Bulls. But aside from that, the reason why I'm here working with HBCU Game Day, because my blood bleeds orange and green for the one and only Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University, where I am studying to receive my master's in sports management. Aside from that, as like Corey, I too received my undergrad within telecommunications and broadcasting. And from there, I found my love of directing and producing. Corey loves to be in front of the camera, but unlike her, I love to be behind the camera. Directing, producing, headsets, in the moment, in the dark, producing, editing. That's what I love to do. But too, I do have some experience with sideline reporting. I do have some experience with doing some color commentary and some play-by-play, but I'm not an athlete, y'all. I tried volleyball. It didn't work. So we had to take our practices elsewhere. We had to find out, how can I be an athlete without being an athlete? And that was through telecommunications. And I love it. And then I found my good partner in crime, Miss Corey. We've been stuck like glue ever since football season. We were the dynamic duo on the field, a nice producer, my great, lovely sideline reporter. You couldn't have one without the other. And now we're here. They gave us our own TV show. They gave us our own segment. So here we are, y'all. Y'all gonna be in for a good ride. That's all I gotta say.
Y'all are. This is definitely going to be fun. But while we're on the topic of FAMU, because we're both Rattlers, let's get a little bit into that season that we attended, and we experienced some interesting times while we were on the sidelines. So, Southern versus FAMU.
Let me set the scene for you. A long time awaited, about a decade since these teams had come together. Aside from that, you had two of the livest bands, the Human Jukebox and the Marching 100, coming together saying we about to battle it out, as they did. On top of that, you had 27,000 people hitting it at Bragg Stadium. Like, if that doesn't give you homecoming vibes, I don't understand what it does. And believe me, if you weren't there, I'm sorry. I was there. Corey was there.
Front row seats.
Front row seats on the field. Like, instead of running up to the press box, I ran and I sat down on the bench, and I was like right there. Every moment was amazing. Tell the people how you felt during that game.
Like you said, the homecoming before the homecoming, it was insane. Like, you set the scene perfectly. We're getting front row seats to the two of the livest bands in the entire country, honestly, and probably one of the best football games I've seen in person since I've been in college, since I've been on the sideline. And it was insane. Like, you could just feel the tension and everything like that, because these are, like you said, two rivals that haven't played in over a decade. So it's been longly anticipated. It was definitely worth the wait, and it was backed by popular demand. And fast forward to halftime, and it is time for the human jukebox and the marching 100 to go at it. Like, before this game, I'm seeing a lot of this on Twitter. I'm seeing a lot of just back and forth, who's got the best band. You know, that's what a lot of HBCUs pride themselves on. We got front row seats. We're watching as the marching 100 takes the field. You can literally feel the sweat, see the sweat dripping off their face. It is insane. It is incredibly loud, and it was a performance. I don't even know who won. I just think they both killed it. And
I mean, if we can't be biased, but
they both did their thing.
They did their thing, but you know, at the end of the day, it's an unwritten rule. But it was just to see how the human jukebox bought the Bayou to brag. They legitly bought the Bayou essence. Like, we talk about the bands, but we have to give props to the reason why we were there, to the amazing Rattler football team. Shout out to Ryan Stanley and Xavier Smith, both of them giving over 200 yards, almost, I think it's like over 200 yards. They did what they had to do. Like, they showed like what the offense is all about. The defense was hitting. That was just an amazing game. I remember, like, being on the side, like, I have to remember, like, when we're on the sidelines, we have a job to do, but at the end of the day, we're both still fans, and so I know we're a hype and jumping up and down, but it's still, like, you have to, like, fix your mindset back to, like, okay, we gotta get this interview, we have a job to do.
Yeah, I think that game definitely showed fans the high dynamic, the high powered and the really dynamic FAMU offense that we got to see all season. That kind of really set the tone. I remember that was like one of the first games. So we really didn't have much of an idea of what they could do and what they were capable of. And they definitely set the scene and they showed out. So that was so incredible.
They striked and striked again. Period.
Struck again.
Let's think about it. We talk about, like, Southern and FAMU, how this rival was just so overdue, but last time I checked, FAMU found a new home.
Right, breaking news.
FAMU, they're over at SWAC now.
Yeah, FAMU fans are gonna get to see a lot of Southern.
A lot more of Southern. It's a good trip. It's a good drive right down there. So I'm thinking, like, this is a possibility, a nice foreshadowing for some good rivalry names. Like, do I see a classic coming?
I'm feeling a classic. Definitely going to be an interesting SWAC mashup in the future, and
it really is. I think
a good name for it.
But it's like, but we want to show that we care about our audience, and we really value you guys' opinions. So I just feel as though at the end of this show, I want y'all to hop over to our Twitter, or you can comment below, or you can do whatever you want to do, and just tell us, like, some good ideas that you believe a Southern and FAMU classic should be named.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the SWAC showdown.
SWAC showdown, but we don't know. We're gonna leave it to you guys. We want to see.
We're gonna let y'all see if y'all can be creative. Let those creative juices flowing, and then next we'll talk about some of our favorites.
So if you were a FAMU football fan last year and you happened to miss the Southern game, I hope you at least caught the NCAT game, because that rivalry is a classic already, and it's a MEAC showdown every single year. The tension, everything. What can you say about that, Dawn?
That game, like, every time these two teams match up, it's like always like some unfinished business, whether it's on the field, off the field. And it's like, yes, we understand that games are played to the whistle, but, like, the heart between both of these teams, the drive between both of these teams, like when you put all that into the pot and then you add on top of that that this game was delayed a day late, so that was more tension,
more stuff building up.
You don't understand, like the it was just like that's how it was during the game on the field. Like from the warm-ups, you can feel the tension of the game. Like we can go on the field, you can cut it with a knife. Like they were hyped from the warm-ups to the beginning of the game. I remember FAMU came in guns a-blazing from that game. Like there was nothing. FAMU was catching, FAMU was hitting, and so that right there was just okay. Like
exactly, it's
what y'all finna do? What y'all finna do? And then we got to halftime.
I mean, the game is already super competitive. There's so much tension. You have players before that were fighting with fans, literally while they're on the sideline. So people are literally just crazy. It's intense all around. The fans, everybody had preluded this game and just hyped it up. So the players are feeling it. The coaches are feeling it. We get to halftime and I'm already pretty nervous. I gotta, there's a lot going on. I need to make sure I ask Coach Simmons the right questions because, I want him to encapsulate kind of really everything that's going on. I just want the fans to really get a feel for what we're all feeling and seeing in Bragg. So I go to ask him my first question, and next, you just hear something in the background, just an outbreak. He turns around, I turn around. There's a brawl behind us. It's insane. He runs over. The interview's over. I'm trying to cut back to the studio really fast. Back to you guys in the booth. He's going. I turn around. There's this insane fight. Helmets are being thrown. People hopping over fences. And I'm like, maybe I should go get a hot take.
Yeah. Tell them what really happened, Corey. Because I was saying, all right, Corey, let's go to the press box so we can so we can be out of harm's way. No, you have that good reporter mentality. It's like, let's go into the brawl. Let's go into the thrown helmets. Let's go into the fans hopping.
Let's risk our lives for this.
Yeah, that's what you wanted to do. But I didn't want to do that because I love my life.
So what did you see? Because my back was facing the camera and I couldn't see the brawl break out. Did you see it before we did? Like, did you see anything happening?
But the thing is with that, it's like I had one eye on you because of course you're the main responsibility because we had a thing to do. But my other eye was on the background, what's going on, because you can hear it brewing in the background. But then all of a sudden it's just, I feel as though once I saw players hop the gate, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. But the thing is, I was trying to, in that moment, I saw it brew because the thing is, before you all saw what was going on, it was already happening for a little while. And so I was trying to break it like, hey guys, let's break. Let's go to a commercial because I want to leave the field. But it was good. But the thing is, that's what's so great about football, because even after all of that, those boys were still able to focus on the task at hand and get the win. Both teams were able to say, okay, like, we understand that happened. We understand the repercussions that had happened, but they were still able to come in and give us a good show to the point that it even went into overtime.
Yes.
But shout out to the Rattlers for that amazing overtime touchdown pass. Like, you remember, like, we were sitting on the sidelines and like the sidelines went crazy. I know we have footage of like the sideline just like blowing up because
the minute he caught that pass, literally the whole stadium erupted. It was
the whole stadium erupted to the point that they ran to the field. They rushed the field. Like that was a great game.
Definitely gave us some great home games to attend and watch because they really put on a show.
They did. We definitely got some bragging rights. And like,
bragging and brag.
But think about it, that was probably the last time playing them, because just like us, they found a new home into a new conference. So it's just like, what a way to end.
Yeah. And like I would like to think how much more tense would that game have been if we knew and A&T knew that they were going to be leaving the conference after this. So this might be one of the last. It is the last MEAC showdown between the teams, but might be one of the last times they really play each other. Would that game have been even more tense? And that's honestly crazy to think about.
Oh, most definitely. But the thing is, if you think about it, this type of rivalry, it leads. I mean, yes, it's strong with football and the football culture, but even when you go to like the basketball culture, that rivalry was still strong then, because it's just like, it's always just some unfinished business. Like I keep saying, like, we saw what y'all did in football, so therefore we have to take what we left off in football and bring it on to the hoop.
Speaking of basketball, FAMU, once again, doing their thing. They just hired a new women's basketball coach in Coach Jalen Pillow. What do you think about that, Dom? Your thoughts?
Well, to be honest, if you want me to be truthful, I saw her resume and I saw a bull on there. I was like, oh, she coached at the University of South Florida. So,
she's good with you.
She's good with me. You are awesome with me. You are amazing. But aside from that, like, that just doesn't show her. I mean, she did that. She had experience with the University of Kentucky. She went down. She's had multiple WNBA drafts from the women that she's coached. She's had many appearances within the Elite Eight. And so it just shows like her drive is crazy. I'm just excited to see what she's going to do with this new ladies team. But last time I checked, Ms. Staples, you were once a rattler baller. So how do you feel knowing that they have a new leadership going into this new season?
Yeah, I think as an athlete, you can always appreciate a coach that much more when they've played on the same level that you have. They've been where you want to be. Coach Pillow played for the University of Tennessee with and under the great Coach Pat Summitt. So when you see that experience like that alone on her resume, it's like someone that you want to learn from, someone that you're going to have that much more respect for, because she knows what she's doing. She's been where you want to be. And like you said, like you mentioned, she had WNBA draft picks and Cheyenne Parker, who was a top 5 in 2015 to the Chicago Sky. So not only has she been where you want to be, but she has also coached players that have gone to where you're trying to go, or where you're trying to go and work towards. So I think that with that experience alone, I mean, that resume, she seems like an amazing woman, an amazing coach, and I'm excited to see what she does with the Lady Rattlers this year.
I think we all are excited to see what she does with the Lady Rattlers.
It's some very interesting experience. So
it is. So we've talked about FAMU, and I just want our audience to know FAMU is not going to be all we talk about during our shows, because there's more HBCs out there and there's more pop culture. So let's dive into that, because I have some great news. I have some lovely news that's going to burst in a matter of, I'd say, about 51 days. If you didn't know, if you've been living under a rock, or if you just haven't been through social media, despite everything that's going on in this world right now, there has been a glimpse of hope, because the NBA is back. I don't think that people heard me out there. I just said, the NBA is back, people.
LeBron James.
The NBA is back. I'm so excited. Like, don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed my 3 months of watching all the past finals and all the past games, but I just need a LeBron dunk now. I just need a trash talk now. Past trash talks are amazing, but I just need one.
Yeah,
now.
It's been a nice trip down memory lane watching all these old documentaries and old games, but I'm kind of ready to watch something in the present. Would love to move forward. It's been great, seeing the old goats do their thing and stuff. And
it's always good to appreciate your past.
It's been fun, truly. I've really gotten to brush up on my history.
Exactly. Let's progress forward. But think about it. The first time that I'm able to go down the street to Orlando to go to a game, I can't go.
Yeah.
All because of our good sis Corona.
Good sis. But, honestly, something is better than nothing, because I've been deprived of sports for so long. It feels like years. I guess it's only been months, but it feels like it.
It just feels like it's been so much longer.
Just to watch them on TV with, not even being able to go live, that's fine with me. Just being able to see whatever, however.
At this point, we'll just take whatever we can take.
Yeah, exactly. They could be filming it on a flip phone, and I probably would still. So definitely, they could pull out the Nokia, and I would still tune in.
That's over. That's done.
That's how ready I am for this.
Think about it. The mindset and the physical bodies that these players have to be in, it's like completely different, because not only do they have to be season ready, but they have to be playoff ready. Like, that's two different kinds of ready, and they have to be in such a short amount of time, because I guarantee you a lot of these players, they have been working out, but not working out as hard, especially with the teams. Like, chemistry has to come back. Like, you have to know know just everything. It's not like you're like relearning, but you're just like,
right. That game shape and that game mentality is so different. No matter how much you practice and train, when you haven't really been playing full-fledged for however long, it's going to definitely take a toll. So I'm really interested to see how the players bounce back from this long break and how they perform.
I'm excited to see it, but I'm going to be smiling there from ear to ear, watching from July until October, because I didn't think it was going to happen, but there's always a ram in the bush. And there it is. But the thing about it, without players, good players always need to be coached by somebody. Mm-hmm. And last time I checked, there are 11 full-time assistant coaches that are female sitting in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And going into the rest of the season, 6 of those women will be coming to Orlando. You know how great it is? Like, it's just something about seeing a woman dominate in a male industry. Like, it just shows that, like, us women can legitimately be whatever you men are.
Right. And you can't bring up these women that are in the game now without mentioning the pioneer, and that being Miss Lisa Boyer, who back in 2001 set the scene and broke the ceiling with coaching as a volunteer assistant for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, imagine that. She was so ready to just be, prove herself worthy in this men's game that she was willing to be a volunteer assistant. No pay. For the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that is so beautiful to see. And I think that if it weren't for her, we wouldn't be speaking of these 6 women that are going to be traveling to Orlando in this late summer. So,
and like, out of those 6 women, of course, if we talk about Miss Lisa Boyer, we have to give it up to Miss Beck Hammond, Coach Hammond of the Spurs. This is her 6th season with the Spurs, and she's a beast. She's had her time with the WNBA, and because of an injury, she had to retire early. But Coach Popovich was like, I see something in her, and she led the Spurs through the summer league. They won the championship, and now she's like one of the first coaches. Like, she's a true trailblazer. And I remember she was talking talking about basketball, and she's basically saying basketball is a genderless sport, which I totally agree. She just kept saying that ball doesn't know if it's being handled by a man or a woman. As long as you know what you're doing with it, know how to play the game, that's all that matters. And that should be the same mentality when it comes to coaching. Just like you said before, it was just like, if men can coach women, why can't women coach men?
Even though Coach Boyer is now, out of the men's game in the NBA, she is doing her thing with Coach Don Staley at South Carolina, and she's been with them since 2008. And we just really got to pay her respects for her and what she's done for the game, and how it's just going to continue to evolve because of her bravery.
And before we go on to our next topic, I have to do a good shout out to Coach Niele Ivey from the Grizzlies. She was an assistant coach for the Grizzlies, and even though now she's over at Notre Dame being their head coach for their women's team, she was really one of those women who, like, I look up to, because she had a quote when she was talking, when I was reading an article, and she was basically saying that I didn't get hired because they wanted a female or African American on their staff. I was hired because my resume proved that I know what this game is about, and it proved that I know what I'm talking about. And just for her to say that when she first started, her first year was Ja Morant's first year. Mm-hmm. And for her to have someone like Ja Morant, who's new, have faith in her, who's new, to build him up to where he needs to be, because that boy's a beast. Like, and that just shows that, just go back to my point, it's a genderless sport. Like, if you know what you're talking about, you're going to succeed. And I feel as though that one quote she said can go just out in life, period. When it comes to women in sports, it's like, it doesn't matter if you're a woman, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, or blue. If you know what you're doing, you're going to be a boss at it anyway.
Right, exactly. Because, I mean, you can't help but respect her. She played on the highest level, even if it is the WNBA. It's for someone like Morant to see that she has that experience in basketball and playing. So she absolutely knows what she's talking about. Speaking of women in sports, we have to talk about Vanderbilt. They made huge strides, and they made history in hiring the very first Black female athletic director. And for me, this is just amazing to see, because this is a Power 5 school, and that's the highest level you can get. And that Power 5 conference, people really modeled their athletic departments and things like that after these schools. So, Dom, I know that you're trying to be an athletic director. That's something you aspire to be. What is that like for you as a Black woman to see someone like that breaking that ceiling and things like that?
It honestly just puts fire. Like, it puts fire under you to see that, like, someone who looks like you can be in position just like that. It just makes you want to grind more, like that Mamba mentality. It makes you just want to eat so much more so you can one day be in that position where somebody who's younger, aspiring, looking up at me, is just like, if you can do it, like, I know I can do it. And every day, like, it's just showing like more strides of like Black women being in these positions. It's just like we're like, it's limitless of what we can do. Like, people are always trying to place people in a box, but it's just limitless. Mm-hmm. And from his league to legitly being, like you say, a Power 5, like that's like nothing. It's great for athletes to have someone in that reign of power that looks like them. Like, I love for someone like he's, like we're always saying, that understands my mindset to be controlled, like controlling like not my future, but like my athletic future in a sense. And it's just amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
We need more. Give us more.
Yeah, we need more, but I'm gonna, take it for what it is right now, and what they have, it's really amazing to see and very inspirational. It kind of shows, young girls that you can do this too. No matter what your dreams are, you can do it. It does not matter what your gender is. Anything is possible. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. Now, I'm going to say, because we have our one last pop culture moment. I'm going to say one word. Well, I'm going to say not one word, but I'm going to say a name, and you just give me your reaction. You ready for the name?
Ready.
Are you ready? Mikey Williams. Mikey. Like, come on home. Like, come home. We're gonna take care of you. It's like,
and
it's amazing.
Wow. I think that just the announcement of alone for just even considering going to a HBCU has already shaken up the game. He's an amazing talent, and amazing talents like that don't even mention HBCUs. They don't even consider it. They're looking at the Dukes, they're looking at the Kentucky, schools like that. For him to come out and like want to pioneer something great, because all the great athletes back in the day, they used to go to the HBCUs. That eventually changed over the course of time. But if we could get back to that, I feel like Mikey Williams could be the first of many that really kind of have that newfound appreciation for HBCUs, because his mom went to HBCU, so he grew up around it. He knows what it is. And I think that this isn't just a publicity stunt or something he's saying. Yeah, I think that this is something he's really considering. So,
because, I mean, granted, he is just in the recruiting class of 2023, and he's just a sophomore, so 9 times out of 10, he probably just got his driver's license. So he's in his own little milestones, his little baby steps. But it just shows, like, his one post brought on 11 HBCU offers since that's happened, like 11. And aside from that, there's been professional athletes like Carmelo Anthony and Shannon Sharp have come out and saying, like, you don't understand, like, the weight that holds and the door that he has been able to open. Because, like, Shannon Sharp, he graduated from Savannah State, and he was saying that, like, it doesn't matter where you go. If you're good, if you have the talent, they're going to find you. And Shannon was just saying that, like, there's no experience at the HBCU. And I legitimately can attest to that, even though I'm not an athlete, and even though like I said, I don't have the athlete ability, but I worked in athletics within HBCU, and just that HBCU culture is something totally different. It's just like, you have like-minded people that look like you, they talk like you, so they understand you outside of the ball. And I know you can definitely attest to that from being an athlete, like having that sense of respect and that drive. And if you have that talent, they're going to shape and mold you. Like, you can have that natural talent, but if you have the right coaching staff, they're going to shape and mold you till you can get to your future.
Yes,
Like,
that's 1,000% something that I can definitely speak to from having played at University of Florida in a PWI and then transferring to FAMU for my last year to play in the HBCU. You can just, maybe the resources aren't as extensive as they would be to PWI as a huge school, but when you're playing for a coach and for people and with people that look like you said, you guys have similar cultures and stuff like that, it just makes you kind of appreciate them more and make you want to play harder for them, because it's like, this is really my brother. This is really someone who's going to stand for me. They don't really, outside of basketball, they care for me as a person as well. This isn't just like, I'm going to support you on the court, but, really outside the court, I don't really care for you as a person and what you stand for. These people respect who you are and they actually want to see you succeed as a Black woman, as a Black man, even if it's outside of athletics. And that's something that you're always going to have this respect for and something that you appreciate as an athlete. So I understand 1,000% where people like Shannon Sharp are coming from. Mello encouraging Mikey. I think that it would be the best decision. And if you see this, you won't regret it.
Come on home. Come on over, Mikey. Come on over.
It doesn't even have to be FAMU.
It doesn't. I don't care where you go. You just have HBCU on your resume. It's gonna be amazing. So I mean, we'll see if this same narrative is the same when we get in 2023. But the way that it's going, I feel as though it's going to happen, because as you can see, it's just been a shift altogether. Like, these athletes, they're starting to open up their eyes, and these institutions are starting to show their true colors towards their athletes, and it's just really just showing like their mindset. And just look at like players like CJ Baylor, who transferred from Vanderbilt over to Alcorn State. And so, like you say, it's going to be only a matter of time.
It is.
Only a matter of time. And then,
especially just, I feel like with the climate everything's in, with the protests and stuff like that, a lot more Black athletes are realizing and waking up that this is so much more than basketball. This is so much more than football. It's so much more than any sport. This is our culture and this is our history. And so having that newfound appreciation and that just something that maybe has enlightened people with these protests, it's going to be really cool to watch.
They can't just shut up and dribble. You have to do more. It's
no longer a shut up and dribble type of. They feel like they now have this platform and they want to use it to the best of their abilities for their culture.
And I love it. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen, because I'm with you 100%. I support you. Do what you have to do. Bring it on home. I love it. We can't wait to see. Now, unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. I have to leave you. But
only for this episode. We'll be back.
I just want you to tell our good audience, like, what should they expect from a good episode of Air It Out? Like, what should they expect?
They can expect authenticity, hypeness. I know me, I'm an enthused reporter. I love sports. I have a passion for it. I have a passion for broadcasting. And it's this platform for HBCUs where we can just give you guys the latest and greatest news and everything that's going on around the country from a different perspective, from a female perspective, from a ex-athlete perspective. And it just is hopefully going to motivate even the young kids and the young girls. They can see that, you can do it too. Sports is not just something that's for men. It's not. It's for women. It's for everyone. And we're going to kind of just give everybody that realness and air it out, get it off our chest, talk about things that, sometimes maybe people might be afraid to address.
Exactly. And we don't want it just to be a Corey and Domonique type of show. We want our audience to come in and just give us your take. If you have something off your chest, let us know. And then we can definitely air it out. We can talk about what you see. So if you have topics or anything you feel as though we should talk about on our show, let us know, because we are all open. We are open ears. Like, this platform has been made for our audience, for you all. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and we're going to have guests too. It's not just going to be us talking to each other the whole time.
I would love just to hear us talking the whole time.
Would love it as much as we know you'd love that. We're going to have guests as well. Just people come in and people that are trailblazers in the HBCUs and kind of just get their perspective on everything. And
let them air out some too, because they might have something they got to say too. Everyone has an opinion, and this is the time where you can let it loose, unbuckle your belt, and let it go.
Judgment.
But all good things, like I say, must come to an end. So we want to thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in for the first.
Hopefully. This is our baby for the first episode, and we will definitely see you guys back on the next one. Bye, guys.